Shalom Israel, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak, Kodash, the one the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect, pushing the word across the four corners of earth, risking your life to do so. And this is just a response to the video posted by the apostle Tahar. Because, in the kingdom, one of the things that's going to make us righteous is we're going to have a full download of the law. We're going to be the complete new covenant, completely perfect under the law. All right, in this kingdom, you try your best, but the flesh is weak. She said the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And when you come into Israel, certain customs might be a little different, right? Because these are Eastern customs, so to speak. Even though, because like you say in the Maccabees, they removed the old law. Like you still have with the Arabs, with certain Asians, with many tribes of the earth, even till now, what's in the law? It talks about in the case of manslaughter, where somebody accidentally kills somebody else, then they have a city of refuge for the person, because their family's gonna want to, give revenge or whatever. They still have that. Right? Hey, in Esau's court system, they'll get you, even if they don't get you for murder, they'll try to get you for manslaughter. Right? And which is basically saying like, it wasn't intentional. Yeah, Western culture, which when Esau started, they actually did kind of well, Sunday's not the Sabbath, but they'll have stores supposed to be closed on Sunday. All right, they'll have certain customs, but the West is just the longer we're here, man, the worse and worse it gets. Right, and we see why. Because the people running it are corrupt, a bunch of degenerates. Right, they've changed everything upside down, so the people that you worship and give reverence to are really doing the worst for you and feeding you with dog shit. Right, and then the men who actually consider the flock, we're looked at as weirdos or something. This guy Nate, of course, is trying to talk about. We say, oh, you're supposed to, you can grape. All right, that's an old ass argument. Yeah, things in the ancient world were done differently. It was a rougher time. Right, and it's hard to put your mind into that if you're constantly feeding it with Esau's bullshit. Because people will say that, man, television is bullshit and all. Okay, it is bullshit. So take your mind out of this place and put it into the mindset of what it was. You have to watch period pieces. You have to study and look up these different customs. All right, and then you can kind of fathom it, but you have to remember it's going to be all real time. And then on top of that, you have people going off, making mistakes. You have other nations who come and then they'll kind of have similar customs, but then they'll kind of go off on certain things. Right? And how do you know what's pure? You go back to the law. This is Sirach 19 and 20. You look at all these different nations, right? Elam, Moab, they'll come here to America. And, like I said, as time goes by, everybody who comes here, they become westernized. Right? The Mexicans, they used to deal with young girls. That's what the whole King Sierra was. Right? They used to deal with young maidens who were in the flower of their age. That's what the King Sierra was, right? Arranged marriages. Right? But now they've been here for, 3-4 generations, and they're westernized. Right? But a lot of these different nations, especially like I said, they come from the Far East, Moab, Elam, they still do arranged marriages. This is Sirach 19 and 20, it says, the fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotency. All right, so you have to know that Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, you have to know he is. Right, and then, like you said, the performance of the law. The performance of the law, which, we're not saying, you got the law, brother, the law, bro. Hey, how many of us have black mold in our house? Yeah, Leviticus 14, which you really don't want black mold in your house. That's why you got to inspect your own stuff. But this place is so defiled, You might live in an apartment complex or old-ass building and, might not have control over that. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, Leviticus 14:33, and the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, when ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in the house of the land of your possession. So this is ultimately talking about Israel. It says, then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priests go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean, and afterward the priest shall go in to see the house. And he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house with hollow strakes, greenish or reddish, which in sight are lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And which, in Esau's kingdom, if they do find certain stuff, they will, condemn your house. They will shut it down. But it's so much stuff that goes because the whole the whole premise of the situation is that you have your own materials and you got your own shit anyway. All right, but it says, then the priest shall come, and the priest shall come again after the 7th day, and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. Right, so that's basically the dump. Take it, you hit your truck up to a little dump or something, or you throw it in the garbage, and then they take it over to the transfer station, and then they'll take it from there to the dump. They'll run it to the dump. All right, which, like I said, in this kingdom, they kind of, because Amalek was running the show, so they kind of use certain things of the law because it's wisdom, it's wise. But sometimes when they renovate and gut these houses, they don't sit there and inspect and look over and do it. They'll scrape that shit off, paint right back over it. They don't go down all the way to the stones, and they're not doing all that. All right, and another component why this place has to be destroyed, which we keep saying, this is the whore that sitteth on the beast. All right, so Revelation 17-16. Yep, these and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right, and that's what you do with a whore. Which how many of these people, that's a weird custom. Your daughter grows up going to homecoming and all this stuff. And these people don't care, man. They let their daughters do whatever. They don't have to cover their head. Right? They don't have to obey their parents. And that's another place. The reason why this place is so bad, man, it's full of whoredoms, right? And shit, a sodomite too. They say, there should be no sons, no sodomite. Your sons should not be sodomites. Your daughter should be whores, shall not be whores, right? Of the people of Israel. And those are two primary things that this place raises children to be. They try to teach the woman who is of very little understanding. All right, and then they'll teach the son to be weak. Right? They'll teach the woman to rule over men, right? With a a rulership that lacks wisdom, of course, and it's the whole place is backwards. Right, the law has to be performed. You have to burn this whore, right, and all the fear, the unbelieving in it. Right, Revelation 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers. See, according to these Christians, we're just all supposed to just get together and like. But you guys don't invite all these people in your church. You'll be a fool to do that. You'd be a fool to do that. There has to be in every like elite team, because the word elect means chosen. People talk about these chosen team, oh, the dream team. You can't just go and just I'm gonna just hop on the squad. Now, you have to, first off, you have to know somebody. You have to be called, right? You have to receive an invitation to even work out, and then you got to go work out, see if the coaches rock with you or whatever, and then they'll select you. And that's what the elect is. They're the first fruits from the beginning anyway. So they were the ones who've been called from the beginning anyway. All right, now this is the dude who's performing at the Super Bowl. This Ephraim, I believe he's Ephraim. Look, you can't, come on, man. This dude is gonna get on the chariot, lest he repent, which he's not gonna do. Which they talking about, he only put that on because uh, um, a TS got killed in Puerto Rico or something like that. Got unalived in Puerto Rico. Well, shit, it says what? That blood is gonna be up on themselves. Yeah, Leviticus 20:13. If a man lieth with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Okay, and what happened in this kingdom? These people have been put on TV, made famous. I got to drive past a damn billboard, a damn goddamn RuPaul every time I go to damn work. A nigga who didn't do shit but put on some makeup, a wig, and some high heels. Right? But they introduce these people as they'll show them in high fashion and in a Lambo and shit, try to make that shit look cool and appealing, and cause that's what it said. You give your neighbor strong drink. You get a kid, raise a child up the way he should go. They get a kids, these images, slip it into the cartoon. What's the new one? Stranger Things, which I knew they was gonna do that. Now you just know it on the new stuff. Like they finna show some weird shit. I already know it. The girl boss, the female character is finna be. Let me guess, she likes other women. And that's this place, man. That's why the Lord is angry with the wicked every day. You can't have that kind of shit in the kingdom of heaven, man. It's not gonna happen. Yes, certain things are strange because you're in a strange kingdom with a strange ass mind. He said, "I've planted a pleasant plant, a noble vine." What is this? What is this strange ass plant? And what the fuck is this? Use the analogy. I planted instead of grapes, you got wild grapes. It's snake berries. What is this shit? All right, their blood should be upon them. They keep having these little protests, these little TSs. Something happened to them. Oh, but they don't tell you all the deviant shit that they do and how they had all kind of PDF shit on their record, and all the shit that they didn't got caught doing, slipping shit in the people's drinks, and getting these operations, trying to trick a man to get with them. But then when something happened, people want to cry foul Like, yeah, it's just that's why judgment has to go forth. The law has to be performed. Right? That's why it goes into that in Hebrews. They say, under Moses' law, you died under 2 or 3 witnesses. Right? But in this place, we understand that mercy is going to be extended for those who have. In fact, let me just go to it. It talks about who fulfilled the royal law. Right? James 1 and 25. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, meaning you have to actually commit yourself to the best of your ability, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. Right? The people, of the Plantation Christianity Church, you guys aren't faithful doers. You guys just sit up and just listen and babble. And that's why they've jumped on the same wave as all these other niggas, podcasts, and this is what it could be, and this is it. Nah. Yeah, in the ancient world, you had, like the scriptures talk about, obey them that have their masters over you. Shit, you go to your job, like I deal with electrical or whatever. Your boss might be a master electrician, right? Guy been working there for 20 years. He might be a master mechanic. So you might be directly under. You might be living on their land too. Right? Whoever the landlord is, the lord of the land. See, for them to build up this place, that's what I say. That become rich by traffic and merchandise. Let me just get it, Tyree. See, Esau. That's why these Amalekites, they copied us. They copied my style. They copied our style. But then, in the case with Abba Bivens, he was actually a rabbi, and the spirit was with him, where he actually came up and because they tried to say, oh, he was with the commandment keepers. Well, he was with the commandment keepers, who they were actually going into a lot of what Amalek was teaching. But then, when it was time for him to become a leader, they said, hell no, because he's not one of them. All right, then it was the spirit that set it up like that. The spirit had him to break off. He was able to reverse engineer a lot of the things in the scriptures using the teachings of Amalek. And then now we have the foundation, One West. All right, and all the fruit of that. So you have to give, the scriptures say the elders are worthy of double honors, man. Give credence unto who taught you. All right, but this is Ezekiel 28:5. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches, right? So Esau is wise, but the problem is he's wicked. He plays both sides. And that's another reason why they know that we're right. Right? You got all these cases where these rabbis will come to the camp and they'll bow because they know that we're right. Right? They listen to the videos. You'll hear I hear a lot of things that I've heard brothers say, and then I'll hear them say it. Right? But then they're wicked too, because they'll go off and get a little boy, and do all of that kind of make him into a catamite. All right, Wisdom of Solomon 6. Yeah, you gotta study what the Lord said. You gotta study what the Lord said. Yeah, you can have more than one wife according to the scriptures, but that's why Paul said it. All things are lawful, but not expedient. Certain things you trying to keep and it's the captivity of this heathen. It's gonna be hard to do. It's gonna be very difficult. The Passover, man, was supposed to be kept in a certain way. We were supposed to, that lamb was supposed to grow without blemish, and you watch it and you know, oh man, that's the one right there. Right, this kingdom is just kind of, hey, you know, you kind of look spot check, but you really don't know what happened. You don't know what kind of shit they were spraying the land. You don't know. Right, that's why we need mercy. Can't keep all this thing perfectly. Right, Wisdom of Solomon 6. Hear therefore, O you kings, and understand, learn you that be judges of the ends of the earth. Give ear, you that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, and who shall try your works and search out your counsels. All right, so your counsels and your works are going to be tried. And they're going to be found to be full of shit, right, for all these different nations. That's why they're going to have to be taught, and we're going to be ministers to them. All right, when it's time to come up to, like the scriptures say, the nation that will not come up, they're going to be cursed with no rain, right, and other things too. Whatever we say, like you had vocab go to the Dallas camp. Are you guys gonna murder people in the kingdom of heaven? Well, we're not gonna need to murder anybody. Right? It says what? Rulers are not a terror to them that have good works. Rulers are not terrors to good works. So if they're really following us, with the example being was that Ruth? Ruth, the book is named after her because she was a good example. She followed after her mistress, right? And she was used to bring back, the royal house in the tribe of Judah. Right. So the answer to vocab, no, we're not gonna need to murder them, just for we don't do that. All right, that's the shit that Esau does. It's going to be a righteous rule. People are going to rejoice. A righteous rule, the people rejoice. People are going to rejoice. All right, verse 4 says, because being ministers of his kingdom, you have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of the Most High. And that's what we're going to do in the scriptures. You serve us well. You bring forth, Jacob the jeweler. He's going to have to bring forth all his diamonds, all his rubies, all of that good stuff. Which his watches are kind of corny, because all the rap niggas, buy that overpriced shit. But that's just throwing that out there, But that's just an example. They're gonna have to come and they're gonna have to submit themselves before us, right? And we're gonna keep the law perfectly. And now is the starting point for that, for us to try. And I remember the apostle said it as meat for you to say, keep the law. Well, you do your best. All right, but all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak Kodash. Remember, the king had to write out the whole law. All right, and then I guess in certain situations, because what that does is it makes you memorize it. I still remember in middle school, when they kept you in, they made you write Paul Revere's Ride. And it was like, well, if you could write this, you can go outside. But then the story is so fucking long, they know that it's going to take you 20 minutes to write the damn story. But I still remember, a lot of the different parts of it. All right, and that's why you have to write it out. All right, but all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to all you brothers out there ministering, for the kingdom of heaven. And then you sisters as well. Shalom.